For many Ontarians, wages haven't kept up with the increasing cost of living, making it harder than ever to make ends meet. That's why I'm so proud to stand here with Minister McNaughton and Minister Bethenfalvey and PA Deepak Anand, side by side with our great Labour partners, to announce that our government will raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour effective January 1st, 2022.
$15 an hour. But is it enough for Ontarians to actually be able to afford everyday life necessities? A new report from advocacy group Ontario Living Wage Network says no, especially for those living in Muskoka. I spoke to communications coordinator Craig Pickthorne about how short this falls.
Yeah, well, for Muskoka, that would be still $4.55 short of what we have calculated as the living wage, which is $18.55. So, that's $159 a week that you're short of being able to make ends meet in Muskoka.
Tell me about how you're gathering this data, Craig. 1855, as you said, is the sort of average wage that people would need to, survive in Muskoka. So let's talk about what goes into the gathering and how you bring this together.
Sure. So what we do is we look at the major expenses that an aggregated family model would have to cover to make ends meet. So we look at how expensive childcare, how expensive it is to get transportation. We look at the shelter costs in Muskoka, like for rent specifically, and food. And then we also look at several smaller factors like internet access and a cell phone plan. So what we get when we add in also the government taxes, transfers, and benefits, we get an hourly wage that working adult supporting a small child must earn in order to make ends meet.
So, again, what you're telling me here is that the average minimum wage job in Muskoka is nowhere near being able to fulfill the needs of those people that are living here right now.
No, so, really nowhere in the province is it ever close to the minimum wage.
Now this was updated from 2019. You guys just did this new list, right? I'm just curious how those trends have changed. How much more has this need gone up in terms of the active wages? What did you see in that?
Well, one of the things that we saw actually is a demonstration of the incredible power that we have collectively to impact affordability, because the government introduced, the provincial government introduced a child care benefit. And what we found was that was really affecting our reference, our sort of model family, because one of the parts of that aggregated family model includes a family of 4 supporting 2 small children. So the effect that benefit had on affordability is incredible. It kind of makes you wonder, what if we did that for rent or another one of those large items that I mentioned before, like food and transportation and shelter.
And Craig, I'm guessing overall these numbers are probably going up from what you have had in the past.
They do. All of them go up.
So I guess where do we go from here, Craig? Your organization obviously is looking to advocate on behalf of workers to try to bring this wages up, bring more knowledge to the government. I'm assuming, where do we go from this point to try to push this case further?
Well, one of the things that we do, we not only just calculate living wage rates, but we certify living wage employers, people who own businesses and they're able to pay at least a minimum wage. And they enter into a legal agreement with us that they're going to be able to call themselves a certified living wage employer. And they have to track any increases in the living wage. So it's not only now, it's the Muskoka Good Food Co-op pays a living wage now and into the future for as long as they want to be certified.
I spoke with Kelly Ebbs, manager at the co-op, to find out why she felt it was important to get behind this fair wage model.
It's really important because if they are not making a fair living wage, then they can be in a situation where they are struggling to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. And we value the fact that our employees work their butts off and that they need to be able to be compensated fairly for the hard work that they do here. They need to be able to pay for their child's daycare. They need to be able to eat healthy, nourishing food. they need to be able to put gas in their car to come to work. And what we find is when we can offer fair pay, that our staff retention is amazing. We have if you've ever been in, we have a really happy staff team here. We have a team that really is dedicated to this co-op, but also you can really tell that they want to be here. And I think that, having that feeling of belonging comes from feeling cared for.
I think the main question, Craig, I have is, how difficult, I guess, is it for employers to meet these standards at this point, including with how COVID has affected businesses over the past few years?
Well, I think I'll answer that by saying that we're now signing up new certified living wage employers at a rate that is faster than it was in 2019. So we're actually have a backlog of employers to evaluate and then certify. So I think that's an indication of where people are at with crawling back from the pandemic. We can't just regard workers as an expense to control and suppress. They're a part of the success of businesses, and more business owners and organizations are seeing that. They're becoming certified.
When asked if he could live off a $15 wage, the Premier had this to say.
This is a great start for 760,000 people to get an increase, and liquor servers getting a 19.5% increase. I think this is a great start.